Three wide. Big cluster coming off turn number 4. Smoke, trouble, way in the back, but here come the leaders.
The question is, are they going to throw the yellow, or are they going to let them race back?
7, 8 car pile up in the back straightaway. Caution is out.
Joe Logano.
Turn 4, Brian Vickers goes for a spin. Everybody takes evasive action and gets by without further incident.
Back on the brake. Back on the brake. Back on the brake. There you go.
The 19 car, Carl Edwards, he got damaged. The 6 of Trevor Bain, he got damaged. Several cars damaged in a chain reaction there.
We knew it was coming. We've seen these cars moving around a lot. Drivers really with their hands full, going from the inside lane, just sliding up to the outside lane. So you knew it was just a matter of time before someone was finally going to lose it.
2 is still up there. The 38 is half of him. 14 right with him. Still out there.
Right there, you saw the left front tire just clip the apron. You could tell that as he got close to him, the car started having a little bit of an issue, and then you saw it just clip the apron, and around it went.
Here's what Brian Vickers had to say.
More speed. Car's handling good. 22, just get the brakes coming out of the corner.
Crazy as they get the end of the back straight.
I mean, do they think it's 10 to go?
Trouble. Here we go. Here we go.
Jimmy Johnson got turned, and they pile up behind him.
14, 48. I mean, the whole crowd. There's a 10. Wow. Lord have mercy. There you go.
5th caution flag of the day. 7-time series champ Johnson. Clint Boyer is in it. There's Jimmy's Chevrolet all torn up, and he's climbing out. BJ Kennington just drove into the garage after that one.
Goodness gracious.
Joey Gase, Denny Hamlin. Now watch Jimmy Johnson outside, 2nd row.
Oh, they got 4 wide. What happened was the 1 car, he snuck to the outside of the 48 getting into turn 3, and the 6 tried to go to the inside. Just not enough room to make it 4 wide right there.
And Mike, I know you won't. The cars are the most difficult to hang on to at the end of that back straightaway. They're light right there. Any touch, any move can spin you out.
I got you. I've not only seen this, I've been a part of this. Jamie McMurray pulls this move a lot. He sticks his nose just right there on your right rear quarter panel, nudges his way in there, and makes some great moves. But it is very.
We're all 3 wide, and yeah, it looks like the 6 and the 48 had something happen. There's nowhere to go, and they just kept coming up and hitting me. So just the left rear is broken. I mean, the bodywork damage isn't that bad, but yeah.
He's behind his teammate Chase Elliott. And that's just unfortunate to be in that situation going into turn 3. Boy, I just feel like it's a little too early to be trying to take him forward. That run.
Kurt Busch around off the bumper of Blaney.
Looks like
Truex not able to avoid this one. Or Bowman.
Oh, Bowman's got it. Benedetto, Stenhouse, a bunch of
DeBenedetto all torn up. Kurt Busch turned around looking for the white flag.
Did we see this coming? I think so.
Oh, DeBenedetto! And everybody!
Good. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? This is big. Wow. But it.
Boy, it just reminds me of the Clash. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere. A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Well, that ruined everything.
I mean, sometimes I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
You know, there's just those feel-good stories that build in a race, and boy, Matt DeBenedetto was doing such an amazing job.
Oh man, I know he was.
So let's go to the Goodyear blimp as drivers climb out or try to make their way back to pit road, and look at the outside lane. DeBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straightaway to DeBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh, yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard.
Yeah.
Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it, and you know you've got to be more aggressive with those bump drafts.
It looks exactly like the Clash. I mean, all those cars, third turn, all those cars wadded up, sliding up the track with sparks flying. It looks so much like the Clash.
That is the 17th of February, looking way too much like the 4th of July.
Amen.
Fireworks everywhere.
Yeah, and it really and truly, it was Paul Menard. He gave DeBenedetto a little shove, but it was on the outside, on the right side, and that just turned DeBenedetto into the outside wall, and then it was on from there.
And a different situation than we saw in the clash between Menard and with Jimmy Johnson, but it was a similar thing when we heard the spotter on the 21, Menard say, well, he zigged and we zagged.
And in this case, Menard told his team on the radio, I just bumped him a little too hard.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's the end of the race. You're trying to help that guy. You're trying to help DeBenedetto. You're not trying to wreck him, but just bad judgment. Look at that 10 car.
Almirola's number 10.
Look at David Reagan underneath the 10 of Almirola.
David Reagan, see what springs he's running. Look at that.
All those sparks flying.
My gosh.
Man. Here's the big one. Man.
Well, there goes half the field.
Sure does.
And it's Ryan Newman leading them around. Oh,
Jimmy Johnson. Hopes in his final Daytona 500.
Kurt Busch, another former Daytona 500 winner. Brad Keselowski trying to win it for the first time, all torn up. Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, one of the fastest Fords in this entire field. And here's Martin Truex, who couldn't get back to the lead pack and gets all torn up. Smoke out the exhaust pipe.
That's not a tire problem for the 18 of Kyle Busch.
We are, of course, under caution with 15 to go. Watch the outside line here, Jeff.
You can see Joey Logano really aggressive to the rear bumper of the 10. He's going to push him all the way up to the 2. And they just, right before the 10 gets there, there's a little bit of movement. And that little bit of movement, when you make that much contact, turns your car right around. That's exactly what happened to Brad Keselowski and the 10 of Almirola.
And that happens right in front of most of the field.
And that really all started with a big push from Joey Logano. Remember Joey Logano talking on the radio earlier about, you got to tell me when I'm pushing that car and it's going to make contact with the car in front of us. Well, that happened right there with his teammate.
Here's our Ford onboard camera with Logano.
You could hear he started to lift, but unfortunately Almirola's car started sort of swaying back and forth right before he made contact with the 2. Hooks his bumper, turns him around.
Oh, he slammed Alex Bowman. And then it's on. And for the second time in less than a handful of years, Eric Almirola ends up being knocked out of a good chance to win the Daytona 500. They come down to block. Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him. McDowell in tow. Dillon on the bottom.
The run's on top. Oh! Teammates.
Around they go in a hard crash. Kyle Busch.
Larson.
Caution is out.
Bubba Wallace is in this. Austin Cindric. Hard hit by Kyle Busch. Caution's out.
McDowell is first to the line, but will have to go back to the moment of caution, which ends the race. Brad Keselowski is climbing out. He's okay. Joey Logano we see taking road.
Oh, wouldn't that be incredible? You're going to see some emotion out of this guy if this comes back official.
A lot of tore up race cars.
All the Chevys torn up. You saw Priest with damage. Chase Elliott with damage.
This was a really hard hit. Kyle Busch, when he came in.
Yes. And the AMR safety crew very quickly on the scene, being directed.
Look at the damage to the wall.
It's a bumper cover up there. And there's Kyle Busch climbing out. That is a great sign, and that means everybody has climbed from their cars after a huge pile up on the final lap of the Daytona 500. NASCAR is still reviewing video footage because when they hit the caution light, that time stamps all video to determine the order of finish at the moment of caution.
Huge run, went for it. Joey was obviously had to block.
Question is, where did that caution come out? Chase Elliott pulls ahead of Michael McDowell.
Oh, look at the run he got right there, though.
McDowell, the run on the outside with a little help from Hamlin.
All right, we know the caution was out there. We saw some caution lights where Michael McDowell and the 3 of Austin Dillon pulled ahead of Chase Elliott.
And Michael McDowell from Glendale, Arizona, for Bob Jenkins Front Row Motorsports, has won the Daytona 500.
How about that?
Man.
That's a huge win for Michael McDowell and that team. Doesn't get any bigger than this.
And a huge crash for everybody else.
Left his dancing partner. He went down, chose to go down and blocked it. Whoa!
Spinning around and into the fence goes Harvick. And it's a 7-car jam session.
Eric Jones is in it. Noah Gregson's in it. Dang it. Chase Elliott.
Here comes Larson. Oh. Jammed up.
Larson had a huge run on the outside, and he was trying to slow that momentum down to get to him. But as he got to him, it kind of seemed like Kevin was having, the 17 was backing up to Kevin as well, and it just accordiated.
Yeah, the Harvick was having to slow down. Larson's got a huge run here, but
watch Kevin try to.
Kevin's got to run on the 17
at
at the same time, so Kevin has to check up here, and Kyle's got a ton of momentum.
Yeah, you saw Kevin kind of move to the outside, and Larson was trying to tee him up, square him up, so it was a good bump draft, and they both hit it. Company either. 2 Chevrolets behind you. Getting stacked up on the inside. Not at all. Here comes Stenhouse. Big shove by Larson.
And around goes the 3. Crash in turn 3.
That fast. Unbelievable.
And that will decimate roughly half the remaining field.
We always say it, cautions breed cautions.
Christopher Bell drops in, and Dillon may have got a shot from William Byron. Maybe not sure from that angle, but up he went and down he came.
Dillon got in the back of Busch and had to check up. When he did, it stacked William and everybody up behind him. They turned him. Rest is history. Now Logano the outside. They can't get around.
Whoa! Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more.
All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. I mean, it's a parking lot down there. Cars parked everywhere.
Blaney out. Big damage on him.
Toe link broke on the back. That one's done. And you see Alex Bowman up the racetrack, and then they start zigging and zagging here. And
well, obviously, William Byron and Bowman, that's where it ended up. But the movement from the 6 and the 22, jockeying for position, trying to outduel one another to that position of passing Chastain, that's what stacked all those guys up and got them in trouble. Those guys were going for it. Chastain was holding them up. You saw the 6 go to the bottom. You saw the 22 go to the outside. The race was on, and unfortunately, those guys behind him.
This gives you a much better view right there. You see the 24 car just being pushed, and sometimes you're not aligned, and you know you're not lifting, and that car gets to moving around, and you hope it works out, and it just didn't work out right here.
We saw this same scenario playing out at the duels the other night when Blaney got in a wreck. You really can't pin it on anybody. It's hard racing, everybody going for it, but when those cars move in front of them, it slows the energy down.
Oh my gosh. If that left rear quarter panel wasn't curved in a little bit. I mean, it went right with the curvature of the left rear quarter panel.
Ross Chastain and Brandon McReynolds did a phenomenal job of keeping those guys behind him. Had he slipped up one time and missed a block, he'd have been right in the middle of that.
Whoa. Late
On
by
that block.
Stenhouse.
He's still trying.
He's up. Trying to squeeze it. Couldn't do it. Into the wall goes Logano. And with him goes Blaney and Gregson and Chase Elliott.
Got a little greedy there, Kevin.
And Logano's against the wall in the short chute between turn 4 and the start finish line. Just trying to make it back, and it won't steer.
We're going to watch the 22 car start to get, he's not giving up on trying to get this position, and they just all run out of room right there, Clint.
Kyle Busch got knocked to the inside as well as those cars that crashed into the outside.
I did not see him.
Joey's going to be very frustrated with that, with Stenhouse, obviously, but a little bit of patience. I think as fast as his car was, he was going to have another shot at that. Man, poor Blaney.